Is a wonderful performer and also a wonderful educator and teacher in the Valley. Please welcome Grishma Singh.
So this fuckboy walks up to me at a work party, eyes me up and down and says, let me guess, biomedical engineering? No, philosophy, actually. And he looks at me with the same kind of surprise as any other person gets when they're actually biomedical engineers. I used to be a philosophy major and everyone was startled. But I'm a math teacher now and no one's surprised anymore. Nobody knows that I haven't taken a math class since I was 17 and that there is a principal in the city who will let me walk into a room full of teenagers with a philosophy degree and teach them how to solve for X. Everybody generalizes, sure. But why is nobody surprised when white people become philosophy majors or math teachers? It's because there's only one narrative that comes out of my culture. It's all you hear about. And as shitty and as destructive as that is, at least the narrative is somewhat positive. People assuming that I'm good at math just because I'm Indian doesn't always hurt me. But the narrative that comes out of the school where I teach hurts my students. I teach at a school where 97% of the student population qualifies for free and reduced lunch. A school that cannot afford textbooks or paper. A school that is so understaffed that my classes are twice as big as they should be. A school that most people would say is on the wrong side of the tracks. When you sympathize with me and tell me that I am so brave for teaching those thugs, you hurt my students. When you shrug and say, well, what can you do when half of my algebra students are 2 grade levels behind, you hurt my students. When you are surprised that my students are intelligent, you hurt my students. But I don't blame you. Because all you hear about my students is when they commit crimes or do something extraordinary like pass an AP Calc test in 2 years or build a super cool robot that beats MIT. The only narrative that comes out of these communities is one of violence, gangs, and the occasional success story every decade or so. And I am sick of it. Because there is no such thing as the wrong side of the tracks, believe me. Or see for yourself.
Last week, Tumblr user Cosmic Moon wrote this following review for the book Looking for Alaska by John Green. First of all, I cried for 2, well, let's be honest, 15 minutes straight when Blink died. And then, throughout the rest of the book, I continued to cry every time they mentioned Blink's name. Obviously, not going to tell you who Blink is. I don't do spoilers. But if you're looking for a book that'll break your heart, this was for you. A month ago, Tumblr user Cosmic Moon wrote this review for The Fault in Our Stars, also by John Green. Okay, so the movie did this book no justice. It needed to be longer and include all the amazing details that were in the book. John Green is amazing. How dare you take the part when it got suspended, only make a wish request on Hazel's dream to go to Amsterdam and only spend 3 seconds on it. The book is great, but only if you like romantic tragedies. Tumblr user Cosmic Moon thinks Uptown Funk is a stupid song. Tumblr user Cosmic Moon would rather be a romance novel. Tumblr user Cosmic Moon is me. My name's Seth Perea, I'm 14 years old.
My name is Diamond Grant, and I'm 16 years old. The hours I spend on the football field and tackling and getting tackled by people in the heat are tough. Game days are even tougher, but you know what's tougher than that? My math class. Last year, I went to tutoring for hours almost every day because my class was really hard. At the end of tutoring, Miss Eaton kept referring me to this website called Khan Academy so that I could catch up where I needed to be. But I kept telling her I couldn't. She asked me if I had internet access in my home. I did. She asked me if I had a computer at home. I did. I couldn't ever use a computer because of constants. My stupid sister needed the computer all the time to do her pre-med assignments. If she was on Facebook all the time, I could just kick her off. But she needed it for something important, so I just let her use it. When she went to Europe to study, my prayers were answered. I was learning medicine in Prague, I could finally use a computer, except she never told me the password. I had to call my little niece to log me in every time I wanted to use a computer. I worked hard to catch up last year and this year. I don't go to tutoring to get help, I go to help other people. I don't even use a computer that much, but when my sister finally came back, I thought, oh no, here we go again. But for Christmas, she brought me my own laptop, so I guess it's cool.
In my 4th hour class, there's these girls who make fun of Denise's hair. It's really slick and down to like her jaw. It doesn't look horrible, and it's definitely not something she should get teased about. Especially by girls whose hair is way ratcheter than hers. I get so frustrated I want to walk out of class, but I don't. I've never walked out of class, I've never gotten in trouble, never been sent to the office, I've never even gotten detention. So I walked out of class once. I was in 5th grade and my teacher, Mr. Wagner, was showing us this movie about the civil rights movement. As soon as he pushed play, I thought, oh great. I already know what's going to happen. We're going to talk about Martin Luther King, the black one, not the German monk. And then we're going to learn something about Rosa Parks, I don't know, Frederick Douglass. I walked into class that day because all I've ever learned since I was a kid is that blacks were slaves and nothing more. Nobody ever told me about Benjamin Banneker, who made the first almanac, or Henry T. Sampson, who made the first cell phone. My textbooks give me no hope to become who I want to be in the future. I've never even seen a black pediatrician in my life. You know who else probably has never seen a black pediatrician? Rude white people from Scottsdale. I was at Safe with my family when just about everyone in the store turned to stare at us, probably thinking, shouldn't you be at Walmart? There was a girl about my age staring at me with a look of disgust, all because I was standing in the same store buying the same things she would buy. She was staring at me because she was probably staring at me because the only black people she's ever seen are the ones in her textbooks. The ones that are slaves, or the ones fighting for equality for the people who used to be slaves. She probably knows the statistics for incarceration for black people. But she doesn't know that her cell phone was invented by a black man. She doesn't know that her doctors use equipment made by black scientists. I wouldn't have known this either, until I Googled it. She doesn't know that I win reading contests at school. She doesn't know I have straight A's. She doesn't know I'm taking 4 AP classes, and she definitely doesn't know I'm head cheerleader. Not until she Googles me anyway. My name is Dorothy Davis, and I'm 15 years old.
In the last month, my school has been in the news 4 times. Once, when a basketball player set a state record. Once, because there was a bomb threat. Once, because a shooter was loose in a park behind our school. And once, because last Friday, somebody got shot in the head. When you Google Sierra Linda High School, autofill jumps to fill in the word dangerous. Phrases like wrong side of the tracks encourage these headlines and statistics. But I prefer the stories. Thank you.
One more time, that was Grishma singing Seth Perea, Diamond Grant, and Dorothy Davis.